Well, it's a very good afternoon and welcome back to another pre-match show here at the Banksy Stadium ahead of this afternoon's 3 o'clock kick-off against high-flying Tranmere Rovers. As you will all have gathered, it has been a pretty busy week here at the football club as Matt Taylor was relieved of his duties as head coach on Tuesday night following the 1-0 defeat against bottom of the league Scunthorpe United. In the meantime, while the search for a new head coach is ongoing, Neil McDonald has taken over as interim head coach and we'll be hearing his thoughts ahead of this afternoon's 3 o'clock kick-off as he gives us an injury update on the likes of Jack Earing, who went off in last weekend's defeat against Northampton, as well as defender Stephen Ward. We're also going to take a look back at last season's 1-0 win over Tranmere Rovers as Emmanuel Osadebe struck a wonder goal to give Brian Dutton's side all 3 points at the time. As always, I'm going to be joined by my colleague Paul Joannou as we take a look back to Tuesday night's defeat against Scunthorpe, as well as ahead to today's game against Tranmere Rovers. First up though, in today's pre-match show, we are going to hear the thoughts of interim head coach Neil McDonald as he discusses what he is expecting Tranmere Rovers to bring to the table. And what are you expecting from Tranmere?
I'm expecting a team to be very compact. I'm expecting a team to try and play off the front two. I'm expecting a team who are going to put the ball in the box and try and score the goal, and if they score the first goal then they're going to be very difficult to try and break down. Defensively, really solid. They don't take any chances, they don't overcommit. So we have to find a way of trying to exploit their little weaknesses, because they have weaknesses, and if we do that then we'll score and we'll be in a good game, and hopefully we'll come on the right side, which we haven't in the past few weeks.
And squad-wise, how's everybody looking?
Yeah, everybody's looking okay. We've got Stephen Ward, who's come back into the group to train, which is really good. We've probably got Jack Earing, who's going to join the squad tomorrow. He's just gone through his last tests on his bang on his head. And Devante Rodney has trained with a group for the first time in numbers instead of training by himself. So let's see how all of them react tomorrow, and then we'll decide what we're going to do tomorrow team-wise.
So those were the thoughts of interim head coach Neil McDonald as he gave us an injury update on the likes of Devante Rodney, Jack Earing and Stephen Ward. Next up on today's pre-match show, we are going to take a look back to that 1-0 win against Tranmere that I mentioned earlier on in the show, and that was back in April, where Emmanuel Osadebe struck the only goal in a 1-0 win, which also saw Tranmere Rovers captain Jay Spearing sent off just moments later. So those were the highlights from last season's 1-0 win over Tranmere Rovers, and what a goal it was from Emmanuel Osadebe. I'm now joined by my colleague Paul. We are inside the fan zone and it's a great little room, isn't it? But You know, it's great, and we always encourage people to come in and pop stuff in the post box. So if you are visiting us here in the fan zone today, make sure you do that, and we'll make sure you get a reply off whoever you write the letter to. Away from that though, Paul, it was a difficult game on Tuesday to take for everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Really disappointing result. I thought the Saddlers started brilliantly, all over Scunthorpe in the first 20-25 minutes. Just didn't get that goal, and I think you could sense it. I think you've seen it a lot of times. If you felt if the Saddlers didn't get the goal while they were on top, there was the risk of them being hit with the sucker punch, and that's what happened. And in the end, the Saddlers couldn't find that equaliser or any sort of rediscover that momentum from early in the game, and fell to what was the 7th defeat in a row, and it proved costly.
Yeah, it certainly did, and we talk about when the Saddlers were on top there. You know, we had a couple of really good chances under lots of Tyree Shade. George Miller had one that, you know, he went round the goalkeeper but then couldn't direct it back, and I think it's going to be similar this weekend in regards to the first goal. We look at the way Tranmere set themselves up, and I think they've won something like 11 of their last 12 games, correct me if I'm wrong there, and they've kept 9 clean sheets in 11 games as well, and they very rarely fall behind, so it's going to be key to see who gets that first goal, really, isn't it, this weekend?
Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. I think with Tranmere, it's 1 defeat in 14 in the league, and that was a 4-0 defeat at home to Forest Green Rovers. So they obviously had a capitulation in them that day, if you like, but albeit against by far the best team in the division. I think it's 17 clean sheets in all competitions they've kept this season. They win a lot of games 1-0. And even the games they lose, it tends to be 1-0. There seems to be very low scoring games involving Tranmere Rovers this season. So I think that first goal is not just key in this game. I think it seems to be key for Walsall at this present moment in time. I think the last time I think when Walsall tend to take the lead, I think other than Bristol Rovers at home, whenever Walsall take the lead, they tend to take something from the game, whether that is a point or 3 points. And obviously in this 7-match run, the Saddlers haven't taken the lead in any of those games. So you feel if the Saddlers can get that first goal, take the lead and get that confidence, it might spring them into life rather than maybe perhaps have the opposite effect of when they do go a goal down.
Yeah, and it's that as well, isn't it? Because you talk about, you know, the low scoring games. It was a low scoring game when we played them earlier in the season. This was right when our pre-match show started as well. It was the first game that we did was Tranmere, and that was a 1-0 defeat on the opening day, and that was a really close game as well. But you talk about the goals and the confidence there. We go up the training ground most weeks, and the confidence you can see there is within the group. But I think it's just the 2 goals in the 7 games, and you know, to rediscover any kind of form, you have now got to be more clinical in front of goal.
Exactly that, Tom. And I think it's not just been the story of perhaps the 7 games, maybe perhaps the season. There've been games where they've been tight that the Saddlers have got the right result, but could have been out of sight a lot earlier with the chances that they created. I think, ironically, there's been games where the team haven't played particularly fantastic, but they've come away with 3 goals because they have been clinical, so they can do it. I mean, an example of that, I think Oldham away back in October. I remember Saddlers only had quite a handful of chances, but they took every single one of them. So that the team have got it in them. Like I said, Tom, I just think they need that good start just to get them confident and lift the spirits, and then once you get that early goal, I think perhaps it feels like a weight is lifted off the shoulders, and you start doing things a bit more off the cuff and perhaps running that bit faster, and then it all just starts to piece together.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. It'd be really interesting to see whether interim head coach Neil McDonald changes much as to what, you know, previous head coach Matt Taylor had. You know, he knows exactly what the players are like, so he's not coming into a new environment, and he's not got to learn about the players in such a short space of time ahead of a really tricky game this weekend. In fact, ahead of a really tricky run of games, really, against Forest Green next weekend and then Swindon in the week as well. But do you think that will help Neil coming into that role, knowing that he does know what the players are like and what he knows how to get the players ticking as well?
Well, he's worked with them since the first week of pre-season, hasn't he? So in that respect, I guess there's not a lot of change staffing wise. So it seems to have been, well, it may seem it will be a smooth transition, although it's happened very quickly. but you've just got to turn your attention to the match, haven't you? And that's exactly what Neil McDonald's done. I think that's what he said to us as well when he spoke to us earlier in the week. It's just about focusing and preparing the team for the match, and that's all it is. I think it's as simple as that. Just be focused, prepare the team for a game, and try and end this run of defeats.
Yeah, and it's all going to be about that. And as always, everybody's got to be pulling in the right direction. Everybody's hoping for that positive result, because it does impact everybody. It impacts everybody at the club. It'll impact all the supporters. Most importantly, there though, that you guys are the life and soul of the club. You come, you support us home and away every week, and getting that result from Neil's aspect, from his perspective, and from the team's perspective, is so important for you guys. And as always, we do appreciate every single piece of support that we get when we're here at the Banksy Stadium, when we are away as well. We appreciate the support on here, across social media, everywhere. If you are coming to the game today, again, we'd like to thank you for your support. If you want to pick up a copy of Sadler's Shout, that's our official programme. We've got an exclusive interview with Manny Month this week as he takes on one of his former sides. That leaves me with one final thing to say. Again, I just want to thank you for your support, and as always, that's come on you, Sadlers.